property, drug possession, and violating restraining orders. Again, police have not accused him of any wrongdoing. We want to be very clear about that, but his criminal past really makes you wonder. Tobin went on to say under that Facebook post that he had struggled with the law but has changed as a person. Joining me to discuss this disturbing case is the sheriff of Harford County. He is Jeff Gaylor. Sheriff Gaylor, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting us to the program today, and sadly to discuss this horrible case.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful, and those poor children who have now lost their mother. It's heartbreaking. What is the very latest on
Recording on Zoom is so pandemic. That's why I use
the investigation?
Well, our investigators have been working diligently all the way back to when this was a missing person report, and then hours later, transitioning into a homicide investigation. But much of what we are releasing is very little. I know that our community and this story has garnered attention from around the globe. I know this story has so much public interest, and people are just anxious to know. But we cannot for a second allow the public wanting to know something to compete with the need to put together a quality investigation to identify a suspect and hopefully to bring this case to a successful resolution and prosecution. So really, we're saying very little at this point. That the investigation's going on. We have 10 detectives assigned primarily to the case. Just that's their sole focus, along with all the other assets of our office, our civilian staff, our technical people, our phone and IT people. Everybody's talents and investigative skills and efforts are focused on this. But 10 direct investigators assigned to the case to make sure that we follow up on the hundreds of leads that are coming in. We've had this story shared tens of thousands of times. So we're getting a lot of tips. A lot of those, won't go anywhere, but some of them might be that something out there could be that key piece of evidence that we need to bring this case again to a successful resolution.
10 detectives. That's a lot of manpower. Is that putting a strain on your department? I only ask because I think that would be a lot of detectives for any department, but obviously this is all hands on deck for you.
And you're exactly right. For us, that's the bulk of our entire criminal investigation section, or the larger portion of it. But it's all hands on deck. This crime is out of the norm for what we're 30 minutes north of Baltimore. A homicide in Baltimore doesn't garner as much of attention as it does here in Harford County. And in Harford County, where this crime occurred just outside the town limits of Bel Air, I can't even tell you when the last time they had a homicide. And then you couple that, you drill down with that to the fact that this was a young lady, 37 years old, young lady who was out on the trail exercising, where she had routinely been known that she would be out there exercising into fitness. And her life struck down in such a criminal manner, and we're not releasing. I've been asked many times about the details, how we can confirm it's a homicide, and the only thing I'm answering to that is that it's not an accidental injury. It's not a self-inflicted taking of someone's life. Our detectives are 100% clear that this is a homicide investigation.
I have a lot of questions for you, but I want to go back to something you just mentioned earlier when we first started. How soon was she reported missing? Because she was found dead, sadly, less than 24 hours after she left to go on the trail. So how quickly was she reported missing?
Well, she was reported. She went around as I understand the timeline. That she went out to do her run around 6 p.m. She wouldn't have been expected back. Her boyfriend reported her missing just around 11:30 p.m. on Saturday night, and then the following Sunday and I have it here, at 1:07 p.m. So on Sunday at 1:07, just a little over 12 hours, a self-deployed citizen who knew we were conducting search operations in that area. Many people were well aware. Social media was abuzz. Many people struck out on their own to go searching what's a very large wooded area that surrounds the hiking trail. And this individual came across the crime scene.
there's been a lot of chatter on social media, on Facebook in particular, directed toward the boyfriend, Rich Tobin. He said that he would never hurt her. He had had some past run-ins with the law, but that he's changed. So has he been ruled out? Is he cooperating with your investigation?
Well, certainly no one's been ruled out and no one's been ruled in, if you will. There's no single suspect that we're looking at. We are taking this case as we would any case. We're looking at the victim. We're working our way out from her, those closest to her. And of course, there's a lot of online speculation and accusation about his actions. And all I can say is that, him or anyone who's responsible for this case, when we can make a case against an individual and we have a suspect, the public will be the first to know. And as the sheriff in this county and the community, and I want to reassure people of their safety, if I could say certainly that we have a suspect and this was a targeted event and our community overall is safe, that there's not a general threat to safety, that's what I would be saying. And I am not in a position to say that. So we are working all the way out from, again, the inner circle all the way out to the unknown, some random person on the trail with no connection to the victim whatsoever. We are looking at every possible conceivable scenario.
So you can't say that you have one suspect or three. You're still really in the early stages of this.
Absolutely, and people are anxious, and again, we understand that. People are nervous, people are afraid, but these things don't generally, and unless it's a smoking gun and someone's arrested there at the scene, these investigative efforts become technical. They become very involved.
I tell you. So from what I understand, I think it was yesterday the FBI joined the whole investigation. So that's a really super good thing. Now, some info about Richard, I think it's Richard Tobin. He and Rachel had just kind of gotten into their relationship, I guess, or made it official on Facebook, according to his post on August 1st. So in my mind, there's huge potential that this could be somebody who was upset by that alone, saying that, maybe he moved on or maybe that she moved on. I just feel like there's so many possibilities here of who it could be. While I think Richard is shady sounding so far from what I've heard, he's got quite a few things on his rap sheet. He looks, that doesn't sound right. How about that? There's still a lot of possibilities. Not to mention, I need to tell you, there is a woman, a missing teacher. She went missing about an hour away from where Rachel was found, killed. I think 59, Miriam Sela is her name, I should say, is her name. And they still haven't found her. She went missing late July. So at first, when I learned of that, I thought, well, this is really bizarre, right? There's two different women, hiking trail. Like, is there something going on here? Could this be like a serial situation? But then I also thought, well, what if this is somebody who heard about missing teacher Miriam Sela and figured, oh, well, now I could do it because then, it could be blamed on this mysterious murder on the loose that took Miriam, right? Like, it could have been a good opportunity for somebody who really had hatred towards Rachel and felt that they just couldn't live anymore with her in the world. I don't know. I believe there's many people that could have had an axe to grind with Rachel because, hey, she was on social media. As you can see, she's very fit. She's voluptuous. That could upset a lot of people. Men could get obsessed, but women could get jealous too. So I don't even rule out that this could be a woman. Like, this could be a man, this could be a woman. I mean, obviously, the possibilities are endless here. So the family has started a GoFundMe. Let me see what that GoFundMe is at now. I believe it's like somewhere in the neighborhood of 47,000. Let me double check. GoFundMe. Let's take a look at it. We'll read it. Okay. So Rachel Morin Funeral and Memorial Fund, $42,977. And then we will, I'll go over it real quick. It is with devastating sadness and a broken heart that our family has been hit with yet another heartbreak. My sister, Rachel Morin, went missing on Saturday, August 5th, 2023, around 6 p.m. In less than 24 hours, her body was found by local law enforcement. I have made a GoFundMe to help my mother, Patty Morin, with funeral costs. There was no life insurance in place. This was not an accidental death, and she did not go willingly, and she deserves a funeral worthy of her beauty. If there are any remaining funds that will go they will go towards things her 5 children may need. Oh my gosh. Please share, donate, comment, and keep this going. Once we have made the arrangements, I will update with service dates and times. If you wish to donate directly, please message me on Facebook. Again, I am so gripped by this, the fact that she had 5 kids. That is so many kids to leave behind. I mean, 1 kid is enough, right? That's a huge loss. But then you think about 5 babies that need her, that love her so much. You know how it is when you're a small child, your mom is everything to you. Your mom or your dad, depending on who you're raised by, or both. And so to imagine this loss for them is just, that's had me just so upset the last couple or few days. It's really awful. So as of right now, they're saying no suspects. Now I want to show you actually what this guy Michael said. He claimed to have found her, but it was actually his daughter or stepdaughter that found her on Sunday the 6th. So yesterday there was a whole lot of speculation. The sheriff had come out and said that no, Michael did not find her. And then some people were like, well, why is he lying? But it was actually his daughter that found her. So I'm going to play the scanner for you so you guys can hear that, and also what his version of events was. Right. Here it is.
Morin left for a walk and never returned. Gabrzeski and his stepdaughter taking off on a search rooted on instinct.
I just kept seeing tunnels in my mind. I don't know why, but I just kept seeing tunnels.
Despite law enforcement swarming the area for almost a full day, Gabrzeski's stepdaughter locating the body in about an hour. The deadly discovery.
Once we got down there and I started seeing them tunnels, I started getting goosebumps.
Made in a tunnel drain not far from the trail's main entrance.
I saw a terrible mess.
Gabrzeski's visions meeting the reality of a gruesome scene.
There's not going to be an open casket, I can guarantee you that.
He says Morin's body found in a pool of blood, suffering severe head trauma, an injury he believes could be the result of a rock.
My daughter said that there was a big rock down there that was all caked in blood.
I understand many of you want answers, and we do too.
The latest update from the Harford County Sheriff's Department declining to mention how Morin died and not yet naming a suspect. This is Morin's boyfriend quickly taking to social media, proclaiming his innocence. Richard Tobin writing, quote, I love Rachel. I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve.
I mean, it could have been his way of grieving, but it's not about you. It's about her. It's about bringing her home and somebody's mother, somebody's daughter. She left behind 5 children.
Whoever the killer is, Gabrzeski convinced it's someone with close ties to the victim.
Because it's too personal. If somebody were just to do a thrill kill, it wouldn't be as brutal as what we witnessed.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this Michael guy. I don't think I explained it very well. I'm going to explain it again. So the day that Rachel was found, this guy Michael that you just saw talking, he and his daughter or stepdaughter claimed to have found her. But it's mainly his daughter / stepdaughter who actually found her. And he's kind of he's speaking on behalf of her, I guess. Now, how I know that this story checks out is because of the scanner. So let me play you that audio now. where you can actually hear the operator talk about this Cecilia lady or girl, female.
The victim appears to have...
Let me turn it. There we go.
Reference to Monpa, callers advising that the victim appears to have sustained a head injury. They have been instructed not to touch anything. She's inside the tunnel as soon as you walk in.
I want dispatch. Where's that at?
7101. They're advising near mile marker 2.75 on the Monpa in one of the tunnels that goes under 23.
You said under 23?
That's what I have the information showing in the call.
Fire me around.
Okay. Now this one as well.
Celia, who's advising that she is located. That's right. We just received a call from a Cecilia, who's advising that she has located the missing Rachel Morin subject on the Monpa in a tunnel that runs under 23, priority 4, near mile marker 2.75 on the Monpa. That's right. We just received.
Okay. So I don't know why it got so blown out of proportion. It doesn't seem like a huge deal, but I'll tell you what, the first time I saw Michael, I'm thinking this guy is a nut. Supposedly there's a lot of vagrants that hang out around this particular area of, I guess, Bel Air, Maryland, where the hiking trail is. I guess they hang out not too far away from there. So it can probably collect a certain, I don't know, demographic or whatever. Overall, I think the story checks out, but I'm wondering about the Cecilia person. She claims to be a friend of Rachel's. So I'm going, well, who is she? And how did she find her so quickly, right? I guess it was Michael, Cecilia, and this guy, Evan, who actually came across her body in the tunnel on Sunday. It's very bizarre. It was such a weird story altogether. All right. Now let's get into this real quick. I'm going to read you this update about this, okay? I wish I had somebody who could switch these screens for me. My gosh. Here we go. I think I have too many windows open. That's why it's so driving me crazy. There we go. Okay. Slain mom Rachel Morin was found with face brutally smashed in. I have to kind of censor myself because YouTube's crazy. The Maryland mom of 5 found dead on a hiking trail over the weekend was naked and so brutally that the right side of her face was gone. The stepfather of the friend who discovered her remains claims. Morin was laying on her back fully, and she had brutal head trauma. It looked like her head had been smashed in with a rock. Michael Grabarzeski told the Daily Mail of the harrowing moment his stepdaughter Cecilia found her 37-year-old friend in a drain tunnel on the Montauk Heritage Trail in Bel Air Sunday afternoon. There was a 15 to 20 foot blood trail. That's a lot. Oh my gosh. So it looked like she had been beaten and dragged into that position, said Grabarzeski, who claimed he was there at the time Morin's remains were found. You guys can hear me okay, right? Yeah, I know it's crazy, right, Mar? Oh my gosh. It's just horrible. Okay, let's see. Grabarzeski's description was allegedly, it looked like the killer was trying to erase her identity. The right side of her face was gone. So this is extremely personal. The fact that they were trying to almost erase how she looked by bashing her in. That's just hideous. Grabarzeski's description was allegedly corroborated by another source close to the family who told the outlet that Morin suffered disfiguring injuries. So here she is, posing. The injuries were so horrific that there won't be an open casket at her funeral, the source lamented. Grabarzeski, who is a Native American tracker, said that he, Cecilia, and her friend Evan were looking for Morin near the trail's drainage tunnels after noticing disturbances in the ground. Cecilia was the first person to see the body. She was hyperventilating really, really bad. And then the police told her to sit down, he recalled. When she sat down, she realized she was sitting in a big pool of blood. I hope they prosecute the perpetrator to the fullest extent of the law. The Hartford County Sheriff's Office, however, said Gabrzeski has no firsthand knowledge of the crime scene and didn't come even within eyesight of the crime scene. So he was talking about something, but yet didn't actually see it. So I guess he's just giving his stepdaughter's firsthand account, I'm guessing. When Morin's body was found, the Independent reported, the sheriff's office also said he did not find Rachel's body. While police have yet to confirm Morin's official cause of death, the local sheriff previously said the incident was clearly not an accidental death. This is foul play on the part of another, said Hartford County Sheriff Jeff Galler surmised. Morin was last seen heading out on Ma and Pa Trail around 6 p.m. Saturday. She was reported missing by her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, at 11:30 that evening, and her remains were found less than 24 hours later. As of Tuesday morning, the Hartford County Sheriff's Office said it had received almost 90 tips about the slaying. As of Thursday morning, no suspects have been publicly identified. Earlier this week, Gabrzeski told a news outlet that he had a feeling about the tunnels after Morin was reported missing on Saturday night. Let me ask you guys find that odd that he says he had a feeling about it? Or do you think maybe he did? Maybe he's a very intuitive person and just felt like, well, she hadn't been found yet. They should check the tunnels. What are you guys' thoughts about that? You think there's more to this guy, Michael, or his stepdaughter? I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking. Because there's parts of me that say, yeah, this is a little weird. This is a little off. But then I'm going, it could literally be so many people because of the whole Instagram thing, her being on Snapchat. Who saw her? Who became possibly obsessed with her? And again, it could still go back to this Richard, the boyfriend. Especially if he has a history or a past of domestic violence type charges and drugs and stuff like that. I'm just going to say anything's possible at this point. I think he may have ESP. I know. See, that's what I was kind of thinking also. I'm going, well, he's a Native American. He calls himself a Native American tracker. Maybe he just had a really strong sense about it. That's absolutely possible. So, Sasha, you're saying, I'm thinking, question mark about the person who found her. I know. That was my initial feeling too. But it's such a developing story. And I believe there's going to be so many twists and turns on this one. It's going to be interesting to see who actually did this. I don't even want to say if they find out, but I hope they find out soon, It could be so many people, in my opinion. The daughter, I know. See, I know, Mar. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm going, the daughter claims to have been friends with Rachel. How did they know each other? From the gym, from school, from we still don't really know that much about Rachel. What was her routine like? What was her everyday life like? What was she doing on a regular basis? I just feel like we don't have enough info yet. But I would be curious to know, how do they know each other? Who is this Cecilia? And she could absolutely be so innocent in this. Like, I don't at all want to shine the light of suspicion on her. But anybody at this point is possibly involved, is the way I see it. That's how the cops look at it. Here it is. So Rachel Morin's mom asked for compassion after tragic Maryland murder. She wrote, "It has only been 4 days since we received the horrific news. I ask that as mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters, that you would please have compassion on us and allow us this." Rachel Morin's mother, Patty Morin, wrote in an open letter shared on her daughter Rebecca's Facebook page Thursday. If you've experienced the loss of a dear loved one, then you know how hard it can be to express the pain that you feel in your heart. When it's sudden and tragic, your mind looks for ways to cope, she added. As a mom, I appreciate the outpouring of love and support from family, friends, and the worldwide community that grieves with me for my young daughter. The family is planning a celebration of life that will include the close-knit community, Patty added, as well as a 5K run in Morin's honor. Patty's statement was published a few hours before the Hartford County Sheriff's Office issued an appeal for a group of witnesses who may have seen Morin on the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail in Bel Air shortly before she went missing Saturday night. These witnesses were described as either being 3 men, 2 women, and 2 dogs, or 2 men, 3 women, and 2 dogs. The statement said of the individuals who are believed to have been on the trailhead between 6 and 7:30 p.m. Morin, 37, was last observed heading out on the Ma and Pa Trail 6 p.m. Saturday. She was reported missing by her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, shortly before midnight. You know, real quick, doesn't that seem like a while to wait to call? I mean, she goes out at 6. She's still not, like, if she wasn't home by 9:30, I feel like I'd be driving over to the area, looking around, trying to find her, calling the authorities. Like, probably by 9:30. How long would anybody else wait? Like, waiting till 11? I kind of think that seems like it took a while. Was this person sexual assaulted? Autopsy, forensics. We don't know that yet. And we don't know about camera footage. We have no idea. Yeah, we don't know. They did live together. Yeah, that's what it seems like so far, Mar, is that they lived together. So she obviously didn't return home. And then he's like, well, where is she? What's she up to? And then because she was in a tunnel, she wasn't immediately found anyway. She wasn't like in plain sight. It was, Michael and his stepdaughter, Cecilia, supposedly, who had then found her in the tunnel. So I can imagine it would have been just out of this world crazy, her not showing up that night. But again, waiting till 11 just seems like it took a little while, but who am I? I mean, I don't know. I got that there was some abuse other than the head injury. Okay. Very interesting. If you want to call in, guys, please, anybody is welcome to call in. I know I get shy too. I don't like calling in myself to these. When people do call-ins, I feel like incredibly shy about it. But I ask that you just think of it as talking to a friend, except everybody else will listen too. And there is no right or wrong answer here. We're just discussing. I'll put the number in one more time and put it on screen. Okay, so the phone number, please call 602-456-6695. Yeah, this is so sad. Did she take her cell phone? That's a great question. We don't know, Kitten Caboodler. That's a funny name. I like that. Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea. There's been nothing released yet. So I think the grievance with the sheriff's office yesterday about the whole Michael and the stepdaughter Cecilia, Michael mainly talking out. I think the sheriff's grievance and why they were trying to almost like say that Michael was not even there was because they're trying to shut him up. He gave away a lot of personal details, very intimate details about this crime. And let's say if somebody comes forward to confess that they did this, he gave away the farm. I mean, he said exactly how she was found, right? Head bashed in, not clothed, pool of blood. Like that's a lot of personal information. And then it being in the tunnel. And we know that he's obviously telling the truth because of that scanner call I played for you 20 minutes ago. So, I mean, obviously that's what happened. But I think that the sheriff's office was just trying to kind of say, hey, pipe it, buddy. You're saying too much. Got to be quiet. I'm sure she fought back. I mean, she was pretty strong looking, like very fit, very toned. I think fitness had become her life besides her kids. And she probably went down with a fight. But I mean, think about it. A giant rock, how instantly that would just done. So everything, great commentary in case you want to check her out. She's awesome. But anyway, I guess I'll leave it there, guys, until we know more info. I'll keep you posted if I hear more. But right now it is what it is. And we're just waiting to hear, something further. Great.